We cannot project American combat power at the time and place of our choosing without both. And finally, I want to express how deeply thankful I am for the continued service and sacrifice of the entire Joint Force and their families. Their unwavering commitment and dedication are the cornerstones of this effort. So let me start with a few details. First, to be clear, as the Secretary said, this is not a single overnight operation. The military objectives that CENTCOM and the Joint Force have been tasked with will take some time to achieve, and in some cases will be difficult and gritty work. We expect to take additional losses, and as always, we will work to minimize U.S. losses. But as the Secretary said, this is major combat operations. So let me talk about the preparation and the planning. On February 28th, the full strength of America's armed forces came together in a unified purpose against a capable and determined adversary. The United States Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and our reserve components integrated across our combatant commands and began coordinated operations with the Israeli armed forces of an unprecedented scale. As the Secretary laid out, our military objectives are clear. Our mission is to protect and defend ourselves and, together with our regional partners, prevent Iran from the ability to project power outside of its borders and be ready for follow-on actions as appropriate. Across every domain, land, air, sea, cyber, the U.S. Joint Force delivered synchronized and layered effects designed to disrupt, degrade, deny, and destroy Iran's ability to conduct and sustain combat operations. On the U.S. side, this marked the culmination of months and in some cases years of deliberate planning and refinement against this particular target set. From precision strikes against key military infrastructure to persistent intelligence and targeting integration to the close coordination of the components across vast distances, this operation again demonstrated America's reach, readiness, and professionalism, and that of our joint united force. It was historic not only in the operational scope, but in the level of joint integration displayed across every element of the joint force. And as I said earlier, this work is just beginning and will continue. So now to talk a little bit about setting the force and setting the theater. On the order of the Secretary of War over the last 30 days to reinforce deterrence and provide the President with credible options should action be required, the Joint Force began to systematically reposition assets and personnel across the region. These movements ensured that U.S. forces remained postured, protected, and ready to respond decisively for any emerging threat. This deployment included thousands of service members from all branches, hundreds of advanced 4th and 5th generation fighters, dozens of refueling tankers, the Lincoln and Ford Carrier Strike Group and their embarked air wings, sustained flow of munitions, fuel, supplies, all supported with command and control, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance network. And the flow of forces continues today. In fact, Admiral Cooper will receive additional forces even today. This rapid buildup of forces demonstrated the Joint Forces' ability to adapt and project power at the time and place of our nation's choosing. I want to highlight a couple specific cases for you. The Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group, which many of you know was down in the Western Hemisphere, redeployed across the Atlantic to set the theater. The ship, her crew, their families, and the entire strike group took a deep breath and, as they always do, began planning to conduct combat operations. The integrated Reserve and National Guard forces have continued to demonstrate the value of America's reserve forces, including the Wisconsin Army National Guard operating in Kuwait and Iraq, and Air National Guard units from a variety of states to include Vermont and Virginia. In the case of the Vermont Air National Guard and the 158th Fighter Wing, they were mobilized for Operation Absolute Resolve and then were tasked to take their F-35As across the Atlantic instead of going home to be prepared to support this operation. The The same is with our Air National Guard and Air Force Reserve Command tanker and mobility forces who stepped right out of their civilian jobs to deploy and to protect the region. Lastly, I want to highlight the unsung heroes of warfare, our American logisticians and sustainment force, those who quietly work every day behind the scenes to project and sustain America's combat power. Our leaders from World War II were right when they said professionals do logistics. As regional tensions rose, the Joint Force elevated our force protection measures on the order of the Secretary and repositioned discreetly civilians and non-essential personnel designed to ensure the safety and security of our joint force. By the time operations began, only essential forces remained on our bases and in theater, all ready, capable to respond. So now let me move to H hour. At 15:38, 3:38 p.m. on Friday, February 27th, the United States Central Command, through the Secretary of War, received the final go order from President Trump. The president directed, and I quote, "Operation Epic Fury is approved. No aborts. Good luck," close quote. In the region, every element of the joint force made their final preparations. Air defense batteries readied themselves, checking their systems to respond to Iranian attacks. Pilots and crews rehearsed their strike packages for the final time. Air crews began loading their final weapons, and two carrier strike groups began to move towards their launching points. Across the globe, our operations centers came alive in Tampa, Florida, here at the Pentagon, and of course forward in the Central Command AOR. As always, operational security was paramount as we sought to maintain and sustain the element of surprise. This operation was highly classified so that at H hour, the enemy would see one thing: speed, surprise, and violence of action. The first movers were U.S. Cybercom and U.S. Spacecom, layering non-kinetic effects, disrupting and degrading and blinding Iran's ability to see, communicate, and respond. At H hour, the beginning of major combat operations, 01:15 local Eastern Daylight Time, 9:45 local AM Tehran time, as dawn crept up across the Central Command AOR, the skies surged to life. More than 100 aircraft launched from land, sea, fighters, tankers, a single synchronized wave. This was a daylight strike based on a trigger event conducted by the Israeli Defense Forces, enabled by the U.S. intelligence community. The first shooters at sea were Tomahawks unleashed by the United States Navy, closed in on Iranian naval forces, and began to conduct strikes across the southern flank in Iran. On the ground, forces fired precision standoff weapons, measured, deliberate, precise, and lethal. This was a massive, overwhelming attack across all domains of warfare, striking more than 1,000 targets in the first 24 hours. We are now roughly 57 hours into the operation. In the initial phase, CENTCOM's focus was systematic targeting of Iranians' command and control infrastructure, naval forces, ballistic missile sites, and intelligence infrastructure designed to daze and confuse them. Coordinated space and cyber operations effectively disrupted communications and sensor networks across the area of responsibility, leaving the adversary without the ability to see, coordinate, or respond effectively. The combined impact of these strikes, swift, precise, and overwhelming, has resulted in the establishment of local air superiority. This air superiority will not only enhance the protection of our forces, but also allow them to continue the work over Iran. Over the course of the last 2 days, the Joint Force has launched hundreds of missions from land and sea and delivered tens of thousands of pieces of ordnance. The effort continues to scale. This included American B-2 bombers, which again, similar to Midnight Hammer, flew a 37-hour round-trip sortie from the continental United States, dropping precision, penetrating munitions on Iranian underground facilities across the southern flank and slightly deeper. Additionally, Israel has separately executed hundreds of sorties against hundreds of targets. Beyond Air Force and Navy aircraft strike packages, coordinated salvos of precision standoff weapons from across the region have neutralized hundreds of pre-planned targets. As I mentioned earlier, in support of these kinetic operations, U.S. Cybercom and Spacecom have continuously layered effects to disrupt, disorient, and confuse the enemy. I will note that this operation had several combat firsts, which I'll allow at some point in the future Admiral Cooper to talk about since he owns the AOR. While we've prosecuted a relentless offensive campaign, our defense has been equally important. Across the theater, operations have remained steady and disciplined. Once again, our integrated air and missile defense network is performing exactly as it's intended. U.S. Patriot and THAAD batteries, along with ballistic missile defense-capable Navy destroyers, continue to coordinate and execute intercepts with precision and consistency. I wish that every American could hear the voice communications like I have as these joint operations centers remain calm, focused, and cool while executing under fire over and over again. Collectively, these systems have intercepted hundreds of ballistic missiles targeting U.S. forces, our partners, and regional stability. The threat from one-way attack UAVs has remained persistent. Our systems have proven effective in countering these platforms, engaging targets rapidly. Each intercept represents hundreds of hours of training, readiness, and technology all coming together to work as designed. We will remain vigilant in the counter UAV fight. And the defense of the region is not ours alone. As the threat grew, our partners surged in beside us. Air defense batteries in Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia joined the fight, proof positive that years of training, trust, and hard-earned integration pay off. I am aware of the loss of 3 U.S. Air Force F-15Es overnight in the region. I am grateful for the safety of the crews, and we know that this was not from hostile enemy fire. As this matter's under investigation, I'll not comment further on this. Let me close. Operations will remain active across the theater
I'm back. What's up, guys?
Across the globe. The U.S. forces are postured not only to maintain pressure, but to respond and adapt as required. Operation Epic Fury stands as a reminder of what the United States military uniquely delivers: the ability to project power on a global scale with speed, surprise, precision, and overwhelming force when and where our nation requires it. What we've demonstrated over the past several days reflects years of investment in readiness, joint integration, and professionalism of the joint force. As major combat operations continue across CENTCOM, we remain engaged globally. America's joint force retains the credibility, capacity, and flexibility to respond to any contingency anywhere in the world at any time. To those who would test our resolve or threaten the United States, our allies, or our interests, understand clearly we can reach you, we can sustain the fight, and we can scale the fight, and we will prevail. To the American people, your joint force remains steady, frosty, calm, and focused. Your service members are trained, disciplined, and determined. We understand the risks of this mission and the weight of the responsibility that we carry. We also recognize that our families also shoulder the burden at home. You are a part of this too. I am proud today, as I am every day, to stand as a member of America's joint force. There is no mission too complex, no distance too great, and no adversary too determined for the men and women who wear our nation's uniform. We mourn our fallen, we honor their families, and we continue our mission with focus, unity, and strength. And now I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Right here. Go ahead.
Thank you for your time. What percentage of Iranian long-strike capabilities are still in the fight, and what is our exit strategy here, and when will it be deployed?
Well, they have long-range strike capabilities, which we are hyper-focused on. The brief we got just this morning, Admiral Cooper knows exactly and precisely what kind of threat matrix he's looking at, the way they might change their techniques and how we adapt to that. So we're making sure the theater commander has absolutely everything he needs. I mean, one of the things the chairman mentioned is for months and months, even before we built up, we ensured that we had maximum defensive capabilities in theater to allow the president the decision space in the future. So even before this buildup in the last 30 days, we discreetly brought defensive assets in to make sure, understanding that there are Iranian capabilities. As far as time frame, I would never hang a time frame from our perspective. The commander-in-chief sets the op tempo and terms of this fight. As I said, it's on his terms. And we'll make sure that Admiral Cooper and his team have everything they need, not just to defend. I mean, the best defense is good offense. And so we're aggressively pushing into that airspace over that southern flank to ensure that we control it and we destroy anything that moves that would attempt to shoot us. Think of it as shooting the archer instead of the arrows. That's where we want to be. And we have the kind of exquisite intelligence to get over the top, find that and destroy it. It won't happen overnight. This is a big battle space with a lot of capabilities. That's part of the reason why it's such a threat to us. That's why I talk about conventional umbrella to blackmail nuclear ambitions. They were building up this conventional arsenal in order to ensure that no one would ever block them from their ability to get nuclear weapons. So we're very clear-eyed about the nature of this Iranian threat, and we're going to get after it. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the question. The only thing I'll add is that unlike an operation, a single operation like Midnight Hammer or Absolute Resolve, it'll take some time for us to conduct battle damage assessment, and the targeting cycle that CENTCOM will run will take those things into effect. Admiral Cooper will adjust his plan and fires accordingly to ensure that we're attriting that. He's focused on long-range strike capability coming out of the enemy, and that's a key and essential part of it.
Of the capabilities that still exist from the enemy front.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say we're still doing BDA. Normally,
push-ups. You watch me do it?
we'd be able to see a singular thing and we'd assess pretty quickly. He's doing offense and assessment simultaneously, so it'll take longer for us to assess than it would in a single operation.
Secretary Hegseth, thank you. Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. Two questions for you. The president said yesterday in his video message that we will leave Iran when we complete all of our objectives. What are our objectives? And can you share more information on how the soldiers who were killed were killed?
Well, I laid out the objectives, as did the chairman. They're completely nested. I mean, Iran has an ability to project power against us and our allies in ways that we can't tolerate. So whether that's ballistic missiles and drones, so offensive capabilities, effectively their Navy, which would attempt to set other terms and impose different costs, drone capabilities, which we laid out there. And ultimately, though, this tying it back to Midnight Hammer, the president has been willing to make a deal. You can't have a nuclear bomb. Radical Islamists can't have a nuclear bomb that they wield against the world. He gave them every single opportunity. Then we precisely took it away. And even then, after that, they didn't have that. They didn't come to the table with a willingness to give it away. So ultimately, those nuclear ambitions, which never ceased, are something that had to be addressed as well. So that's a discrete sense of what's being addressed here to ensure that they can't use that conventional umbrella to continue a pursuit of nuclear ambitions. And then as it pertains to the U.S. casualties, that particular incident was, you have air defenses and the lot's coming in and you hit most of it. And we absolutely do. We have incredible air defenders. Every once in a while, you might have one, unfortunately, we call it a squirter that makes its way through. And in that particular case, it happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons. So we certainly will do, as I said, moments like that, as we remember them and we take care of them and take care of their families, only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we do this properly.
Thank you.
Yep. Right here.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. I had two questions for you. First, are there currently any American boots on the ground in Iran?
No, but we're not going to go into the exercise of what we will or will not do. I think it's one of those fallacies for a long time that this department or presidents or others should tell the American people, and our enemies, by the way, here's exactly what we'll do. Here's exactly how long we'll go. Here's exactly how far we'll go.
That's what y'all been doing anyway. Y'all been telling everybody what y'all doing.
And so President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go.
Whiskey, thank you. Shout out to Cade.
American interests.
We're
not dumb about it. You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay for 20 years. We've proven that you can achieve objectives that advance American interests without being foolish about it. Now, will we be bold about it? Are we willing to be decisive about it? Do we put months and months of planning into what kind of effects we want to achieve? Absolutely. But going forward, why in the world would we tell you, the enemy, anybody, what we will or will not do in pursuit of an objective? We fight to win. We fight to achieve the objectives the President of the United States has laid out, and we will do so unapologetically. Thank you.
Is there any significance to Israel carrying out this strike to kill the Ayatollah? And I wanted to know, what was your immediate reaction to finding out about his killing?
I think Israel did a great job in the conduct of that operation.
President Trump put a 4-week timeline
right
on
here.
it. Are you
Please.
saying that's wrong?
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned during the briefing, General Kane, that there would be additional troops sent to the region. Could you say how many troops currently are involved in this operation and how many additional troops are planned to go in this next phase?
I don't want to talk specifics because that would tip the enemy off. We have more tactical aviation flowing into theater just based on the time it took to get it out there. I think we're just about where we want to be in terms of total combat capacity and total combat power for Admiral Cooper. One of the things, though, that a commander, he'll consistently assess the trajectory of the campaign. Is he on or off trajectory? And then make an ask of the joint force, which will then develop options for consideration by the Secretary and the President to either increase or in some cases decrease the amount of combat capability that we have over there.
I heard the question about 4 weeks. It's the typical NBC sort of gotcha type question. President Trump has all the latitude in the world to talk about how long it may or may not take. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. It could move up, it could move back. We're going to execute at his command the objectives we've set out to achieve. And what he has shown an ability to do that other presidents can't quite seem to have the aperture to do, well, I mean, Joe Biden didn't even know what he was doing, is to look for opportunities and off-ramps and escalations for the United States that creates new opportunities to execute what we need on our own timeline. So you can play games about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. He has all the latitude, and I'm glad he does, because there's no better communicator than our president expressing those things. I've been in meetings with the president for the last 2.5 days. We know exactly where his headspace is, and he will communicate as he should exactly what he would like, and we will follow those orders. And I think everything he said on that is right down the middle. Absolutely. Yes, right there. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Secretary. I left my hometown of Sakis in Iranian Kurdistan in 1996. Can you promise that I will be able to return home safely this year? And I have a following question too, please.
I appreciate the question.
I'm not going to promise that.
I'm not here to place guarantees on that, but I think the message the president has given has been clear to the people of Iran. This is your moment. The world was seized by these crowds, and then seized by the reality of this regime killing tens of thousands of innocent protesters. So we saw the nature of the regime yet again exposed. We saw many of the Iranian people seek a change there. This is their moment to take advantage of it, for sure.
You served in Iraq and know that no American soldiers were killed in Kurdistan. The Kurdish people are very pro-American. Will you continue protect Kurdistan and Peshmerga as loyal ally of the United States? Why I'm asking this question? Because now Kurdistan is under attack by Iranian drones and by proxies in Iraq and on the region.
I think I can speak to allies generally in the region who we've been in constant communication with. We've been standing shoulder to shoulder with them, and we appreciate their capabilities. Absolutely. Yes, right here.
Hi, thank you. Cameron Arkin with the Daily Wire. My question is about some of the domestic threats, if any, regarding this right now. Have there been any concerns about Iranian sleeper cells, and kind of what has the Trump administration been doing to kind of monitor these
Well,
threats?
across the interagency, in full coordination, of course, we're paying attention to any potentialities there. This is a former regime, that seeks to export that ideology and try to sow terror. We're ready for that. We've seen these types of folks before, and the American people can rest assured that we're vigilant on that.
Right here. Secretary, thank you. Kind of a follow-up on that last question. There was just this, what appears to be a terrorist attack in Austin yesterday. How does that change the operation at all? What effect does that have? And
It doesn't change the operation at all, and I know the authorities are executing exactly the way they should.
Secretary Hegseth, and one for Chairman Kane as well. I understand, to your point here, that you don't want to broadcast everything for our adversaries to hear, but the American people also want to know what they're sending their men and women to war for. Is there a concern of this spiraling into a longer war? And then one for the chairman when you're done.
Did you not hear my remarks? I mean, we're ensuring the mission gets accomplished, but we are very clear-eyed, as the president has been, unlike other presidents, about the foolish policies of the past that recklessly pulled us in to things that were not tethered to actual
Did you not hear?
clear objectives.
Excuse me, lady?
So
Damn.
we know. We have
sassy.
plans, we have generals, we have chairmen, we have commanders, CENTCOM commanders, Admiral Cooper, who's executing very deliberately to ensure outcomes that I laid out are accomplished. But we would never, in front of a press pool, lay out how long that may take. The mission for our warfighters, which is what matters to us, is very, very clear. And they're executing it right now violently.
And just for the chairman quickly, I have one for the chairman. You said this is not a one-night operation. It will take time to achieve the goals. What would be the goal line here for you?
I think the Secretary laid out the military objectives, and that's what we execute against, is the military objectives.
Last one right here.
Uranium is. Thank you, sir. As you've said, there are a large amount of U.S. service members that are in harm's way right now. What is your prayer for them?
First of all, my prayer for them is that I do pray for them. My wife prays for them. Our family prays for them. Our cabinet prays for them. None of this is done on a whim. Having been in their boots, having been in their shoes, having been in their flight suits, I know we think about them with every decision that we make and every recommendation that we make to the President of the United States. Those recommendations are made prayerfully. And when I pray every day for them and for this mission, I pray simply for the biblical wisdom to see what is right and the courage to do it. It's going to take courage to follow through on this. There's going to be a lot of noise, and we pray for that, and we hope all of you do as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, there's still.
All right, there you go. That was an update from the Pentagon. Of course, we had Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, as well as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, providing that update, taking questions from members of the media. Obviously, as you heard from Secretary Hegseth, there's a lot they can release and a lot more they cannot release just yet. President Trump saying this Operation Epic Fury could continue for the next 5 weeks or so. We're going to continue to follow all of the latest developments as soon as we get them here on Live Now from Fox. And
all right, so good morning, guys. Let's get into some of the updates today and what's happened. And they're talking. I wonder if that's the video. We'll talk about the supposed.
all related to Operation Epic Fury.
We'll talk about the supposed friendly fire. I got your email, by the way. I sent you the link back. Some people were asking about what was the podcast that we were listening to. It was a Twitter Spaces last night. So I sent that guy the link. If you want to email me at tips@icamail.com, or just go to icamail.com and there's a submit a tip area there. Let's start over here. I had a really crazy ass morning, like not even on stream. I was like, oh my God, trying to get myself together. And this website that I like is acting weird. Use a different one. Okay. And I have some videos and stuff we're going to go over. Russia, of all places, is urging a ceasefire. Russia. Wow, Putin. Putin's telling you guys to slow down, chill out. And if you hit the like button, you guys, I'd appreciate that. Get into the algorithm. Good morning. Russia urged immediate ceasefire in the Middle East. Wow. The Russian Foreign Ministry said today it's concerned the military campaign, which it described as aggression by the U.S. and Israel, is expanding across the region. How thoughtful of Russia, Mother Russia. What else we got? Joint Chief Chairman offers condolences. So I got to find out about that too. I thought it was 3 U.S. troops that were killed. When did we get to 4? Iran's deputy foreign minister denies striking Saudi oil infrastructure. So this morning, some of the things that I was seeing, it was kind of chaotic, man. It was a little, as far as like what's going on overseas. And a lot of the times it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. What's AI, what's from 10 years ago being posted as today. Oh my God, look at this. Hold on, we got a couple things. Let me bookmark this. Oh my gosh. Oh, this lady too is crazy. Hold on. This shit is crazy. You guys ready for some of the crazy stuff? Hold on. Hold up. Okay. Let's fix this. All right, all right. So first, a UAE oil rig in the Arabian Gulf reportedly hit by an Iranian Shahid drone. So apparently they're denying this. They're talking about this one, Saudi oil, reports of a fire. Because I saw somewhere else that was attacked. I think this might be something. This is actually something else. So let's check this out. Let's see. Messing with the money, messing with the oil, messing with the tourism. Saudi Arabian officials, if Iran has plots to strike on their oil plants, they can expect military retaliation. Ooh. Forget about the people, the human lives, the innocent people. Forget about the kids. If you fuck with the oil, oh, it's going to be hell to pay. Expect gas prices mooning by morning. U.S. soldier in Kuwait base after the Iranian drone strike. That's my fucking truck. Sorry, too much cursing earlier. Oh. That's my fucking truck. How much are you guys paying for gas, man? Me, it takes me about, I think mine takes, when it's really, it takes up to like 17 gallons. And I feel it's like 40, 50 bucks, probably close to $50 usually to refuel. This is something else too. Looks crazy. Skyscraper has been hit by an Iranian drone. No audio. No, that shit don't even look real. It's a GIF. Where's this at? This is AI. Ooh, this guy caught these 2 cars driving into each other. Yeah, what the hell is this? Let me see. Well, not really, actually. I don't look like they're driving into each other. Oh, yeah, right there, right there. Look at that. Look at that. What the hell is that? I don't understand. I mean, I guess I understand. I guess maybe the thought in these people's heads, just to get it, whatever I got to do to get the views, I guess. By any means necessary. The original poster's concerned citizen. No skyscraper has been hit. fastest way to blow up on X, the smartest the smartest, the most advanced tech in the world is to lie 24/7, post fake content, and AI. Boom. Okay. Now, let's keep rolling. U.S. soldiers in Kuwait reacting to drone strike. Right, we saw that. 3 U.S. warplanes shot down, which is wild, pretty crazy. This is what I saw yesterday, too. I was wondering about this. The U.S. F-15 fighter pilot who ejected over Kuwait is alive. So they're talking about there was some type of friendly fire. How? How does this even happen? They were all 3 shot down? It appears the Kuwaitis initially thought he was an Iranian and wanted to attack him. The guy walked up with a pipe. Doesn't this soldier have guns in his hand? He's running up with a pipe? What?
Police? Yes. 1 minute. 1 minute. لا لا شبه الدبة 1 minute 1 minute 1 minute Police.
And this is the oil refinery that people are talking about. So in the article again, it says that Iran's foreign deputy minister denies striking Saudi oil infrastructure. They better deny that shit because they don't want that smoke. Let's take a look at this. And by the way, the ejection function, I'm not exactly sure how it works with those fighter jets, but it's automatic, isn't it? Or do you have to press something? Or both? MAGA was supposed to be against wars of choice. You know, I saw something about that, and I thought it was interesting this morning. It was kind of funny. Let me see if I can let me log into my account. Give me 1 second. Let me log in here. You got to see this. I thought about you guys, people that say that. And some people don't agree with this. On the right, though, some people don't agree. There's a lot of people that don't agree with what's going on. Some people do. Yeah, man, everything's triple, quadruple authenticated in this bitch. I want to show you guys this video. There we go. Okay, I bookmarked it. Let me see here. I bookmarked it just for you. I thought about it. Maybe I didn't bookmark it. Here it is. Here it is. This one right here. This guy, it said, this literally, as I was scrolling, this is the first thing that popped up. Liberals when Obama attacked Iraq and Syria. Oh, shoot.
Whatever. Whatever. He started a war without approval from Congress. He's a freaking dictator.
All these guys have done that without Congress.
Whatever. He started a war without approval from Congress.
I'm not even going to do this one. You're not ready for this. I'm not going to even touch that. But one more thing. This is kind of funny. It's just, you ever see these people online? They're like, oh, I'm off. I'm done. I'm getting off. I'm done with this social media. I'm taking a prolonged period of time off of X or Facebook. And then they always come back an hour later, 2 hours later. And I'm like, yo, I thought you were gone. If you're going to take the time off.
You betray my trust, you're never getting it back. I'm deleting my Facebook. If you have my number, you know how to find me. And if you don't, there's a reason. When I come visit next month, don't even try to hang out with me. Where were you then? I'm cleaning up my friends list. If you're here, it's for a reason.
I remember seeing that too. I'm cleaning out my friends list. I'm like, okay, I don't know if they're going to get rid of me or not. And I'm just always there. They're still there. Like, go already then, you know?
If I cut you off, chances are you handed me the scissors.
All right, we're done with that. Back to the serious stuff. But here's more. Iran strikes Saudi Arabia's oil refinery. This is gonna cause some problems because they're over here shooting at anybody and everybody. Anybody can get it. Let's see what this page has. Aftermath. Oh. Okay, there's some live video right now. It's kind of interesting. It's the aftermath of a bombing. Iranian missile strike in Israel. Beersheba. I mean, you can't see much right now. Let me set it up. Who's this? Oh, is that United Nations or something? What's that? Let's take a look at it here. Atoms for Peace and Development.
Hi, Digi. François Murphy from Reuters.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
Moments after we received your statement to the board saying you had no indication that any nuclear facilities in Iran had been hit, the Iranian ambassador told reporters that yesterday Natanz had been attacked. So I'm just wondering if you have information on that, and if you could perhaps give us a clearer sense of what information you have to go on. In your statement, you mentioned that you're not able to reach the Iranian nuclear authorities. So, what are you basing this on? What kind of information do you have coming out of Iran? Is there a lag in terms of being able to verify this kind of statement?
They got bombed.
No, I will not get into a polemic.
We got to Rwanda.
We stand by what I said before. We haven't seen major military activity targeting the nuclear facilities. We have been looking at different satellite images. There might be something there, but not significant.
Do you acknowledge there is nuclear facilities?
Or comparable in any way to what we saw last time. This is, and we are getting, information regularly. On the other thing, meaning the contacts with the Iranian safety regulatory authorities. Maybe it is due to the interruption of internet services in the country. We don't know, but we haven't been able to reach out to them or for them to respond to the calls from our Incident and Emergency Center, the IEC.
Austrian
Sorry.
television in the back.
Andreas Mitschitz, ORF News Austrian Television Director General. Hello. You mentioned a sense of frustration in your statement this morning.
Yes.
Is this coming from being in Geneva yourself? You had the impression that the two sides are getting closer, that Iran is willing to give more than back in 2015 with the JCPOA in terms of stockpiling and enrichment. Please share your thoughts on that.
Thank you very much for the question. Well, I think the sense of frustration is, as any diplomat would have in front of a process that could not reach an agreement. It's a general sense of frustration that I think everybody shares. But in terms of the details, I don't think it would be correct. I'm not the mediator. We were there to provide technical support, explanation, because on occasion at the political tables, things are said, principles are discussed, But as I said in my statement, if you look at it, when it comes to nuclear agreements, principled statements are not enough. You have to define clearly what you mean by certain things, that you commit to A, B, or C, and that those will be verifiable. That was the sense of my comment. And it is obvious that there was no agreement, otherwise we wouldn't have seen what we have been seeing. But my hope is also, and I think praise is due to the strenuous efforts by the Foreign Minister of Oman and his team there that were trying to bring the two sides together. I was grateful to him for hosting us in Geneva, and we hope that this process, or a diplomatic process in general, shall resume. It must.
Okay, I'm going to show you guys
Good afternoon, Mr. Director General.
something interesting
I'm a
here.
journalist of the CCTV China Media Group.
Yes.
So at a time when technical engagement between the United States and Iran was expected to move forward, and the renewed military strikes have taken place, and do you believe these actions undermine the trust or narrow the space for negotiations? How prepared is the agency IAEA to operate under this kind of the conditions? Thank you.
Well, the agency is always prepared. We have all the necessary information about, of course, the nuclear program. We also have the expertise to determine how, as I was telling our Austrian colleague just now, to determine and help negotiators look at the feasibility.
So I'm going to switch this to full screen because I didn't realize, so this is a live feed. The bottom, the right is a live feed. I'm going to show you the full screen here. And I rewinded it. There was a bunch of smoke that came up and I'm like, oh, snap. They got hit. Now this is in Beirut. This is Beirut. How do you spell Beirut? B-E-I-R-U-T. Beirut. And I slowed it down. I had to slow it down because I was kind of curious to see how it comes in. Let me take it back. Take it back. So yeah, this is in Beirut. This just happened. You can see, I slow down the live stream. You can see it kind of like where it comes from. Where did it come from? Damn, that should almost look like it was launched locally. What the hell? Like somebody within the city launched that shit. Oh, what? There you go. There it is. Rewind it back again. I guess that light, I don't know how all this stuff would work, but you see like an illumination right here. I'm assuming, I don't know, where did that shit come from? The middle, it just came from the sky and then flew down the middle of the street and hit this building? You know, don't they normally come from like up top and stuff? Or was it a cruise missile? No, they don't have that over there, right? These Iranian people? It's kind of crazy to see that. Where's that coming from? You see something like illuminate here and then boom. But let me see over here, because you see, that's strange, yo. What do you think? Am I tripping? Anyway, let me put it to normal speed and we can watch the After Effects. Oh, and the audio too. Let's see, is there audio for this? Yeah. No warning prior either. No warning, no sirens. Look, that's normal speed. Was that like a terrorist or something? You think did that come from that was an airstrike? I'm tripping. That's what I'm thinking. Like it almost looked like an RPG or something. Like somebody right a couple blocks down or a couple, I don't know. after explosion, I guess. Like the gunfire too, yeah. Ah. That's not an RPG. No RPG. Meth lab. Yo. Crazy, crazy, crazy. No warnings. No nothing. Do they have those systems in place? Look at that. What is that? After explosions? Do they have the warning systems in place, Beirut, or no? Because we didn't even hear the warning, the sirens, nothing. Oh, what is that? Okay, I mean, so we just take it back here. So there's like after explosions happening, or is that another missile that came in or something, or whatever that was? Or just somebody said meth lab. The hell? What was that? Some 9/11 shit. Oof. Yeah, you hear gunfire. You hear that in the background? Somebody's just shooting. Interesting. Okay, let me fast forward it then. Just kind of see what else happened. Man, that got hit hard. Mark 3 building warnings on fire. You watched it live? Did they really? Oh, really? Oh. Well, I mean, oh. Just fast forwarding it back to the live. What's that? The hell is that in the distance? Wait. What's that? You hear that too? Is that like a from a helicopter or something, or was that a car? Well, it's just a car, I think. And it's like a flash too. What's the flash? Okay. Let's fast forward then. Let's go live. So this is live now. Beirut attacked. Okay, so that was this morning's attack. I wonder if there's more to come in that area. Jeez. I guess we'll switch back to the other feed. Okay. And I'll label let me label the feed too for the Bay Area.
If so requested.
Question over there.
Mohammed from Al Jazeera Arabic. Can you please tell us more about your concerns regarding the Asfahan facilities? What was reported on Friday, I think, or on Thursday regarding the Asfahan facilities, the uranium-rich uranium stored there?
Well, Isfahan, there is nothing new about Isfahan, as you know. Isfahan is one of the main facilities which contains a number of very important installations that are essential in the nuclear fuel cycle, as we call it. You know, treatment, conversion of uranium, enrichment as well, and in this case, also the storage. It is widely assumed that most of the stockpile, if not all, a large part of the stockpile is there. So it is very important in this regard.
Any other questions?
Can I ask a follow-up on Isfahan facility? You said on the report that we have seen, which was published in the news agencies, there was said that there are some activities around the site, and you think the uranium, high enriched uranium, is still there. So can you give more information about that?
Well, unfortunately, and in spite of our repeated requests, not from now, but as of last, let's say, fall or late summer last year, we have been repeatedly requesting Iran for access to go and check whether the material is there. You remember that we were able to agree in Cairo on a number of verification steps that could facilitate that, but given the political processes and other things, Iran decided not to continue applying the Cairo agreement. So we haven't been able to return there. That is the general situation. As per the possibility of the material being removed, we hope it has not been removed. We hope we'll be able to check it, because we should not forget that the agency, and as Iran continues to be a party to the Non-Proliferation Treaty, they are under an obligation to show the agency where this material is. We understand the difficulties at the moment, but we hope to be able to regain this access as soon as possible.
No problem, Craig.
Hi again, DG. Could you just give us a clearer picture of the sources of information that you have at your disposal in terms of determining whether any facilities have been targeted? Have you had any input, for example, from the Iranian side on whether that's the case? And what else are you relying on? Is it satellite imagery?
Yes.
You don't seem to have anyone in Iran at the moment.
No, we don't have anybody at the moment, because the last inspection had been completed. And as you know, ever since last summer, we are going there when we have a concrete inspection to perform, and then we return. But yes, we have access to multiple images from us, from others. We analyze them very, very carefully, so we can have a pretty good idea about it. Just like last summer. I mean, we were not there checking whether facility A, B, or C had been attacked or not. And I think this is the case. We are, of course, in conversation with Iran, but at the moment is very limited. Until last Thursday, it was very intense.
If there are no further questions, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, so we were listening to the International Atomic Energy Agency as they were discussing the ongoing Operation Epic Fury and Iran strikes. I did want to bring your attention to this live look of the White House as coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, President Trump will be participating in a Medal of Honor ceremony at the White House. He'll award the Medal of Honor to 3 soldiers who each fought in a different era. 2 of them are being recognized posthumously. The medal, the highest military decoration awarded by the United States.
Oh, wow.
We're also going to be monitoring this live event because this will be the first time that we see President Trump live in front of cameras since Operation Epic Fury began. We did play his 2 recorded statements that he released on his social media platform, Truth Social. And of course, we'll bring you his remarks in their entirety. That is scheduled to start at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We are also continuing to follow all of the developments in the Middle East as Iran continues to retaliate during Operation Epic Fury.
Let me show you guys some stuff.
Coming up after the break, we're going to be speaking with former
I wonder if you guys have seen this yet. Where's this lady at? This shit was wild. No, I want the long version. He posted a really short version because nobody has any kind of attention span. Where's the long version of this? I saw it yesterday. You guys saw it with the ladies live streaming and the ship blows up? Here we I thought it was longer than that. It's just 20 seconds? Oh shit, okay. Okay. Did they get hit again? They didn't get hit again, right? That's the same thing, or is that a new one? I think that's the same one, same explosion. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. So they're saying this Filipina woman in, I think, Dubai, they're saying she was in her apartment live streaming when the place gets hit by, I guess, some type of missile or drone.
Alam mo, Mare, alam mo si Anggam, hindi ako yung piniplay niya, si Marabi. Kasi sabi niya kanina kay Marabi, 1/4 pa lang daw.
Oh, shit, there's no way. You guys seen that? I wonder what happened to her.
Mare, alam mo si Anggam, hindi ako yung piniplay niya, si Marabi. Kasi sabi niya kanina kay Marabi, 1/4 pa lang daw.
Insane, dude. I'm gonna see if I can find out more about this lady. Posted March 1st, 2.8 million views. I wonder if we can find out more about her. I don't know what's her name, what happened, what building. Oh yeah, they just released this too, the Central Command. Says Iran continues to maliciously launch ballistic missiles and indiscriminately targeting military and civilian locations throughout the region. U.S. forces remain on the hunt to eliminate the threat. Let's see this. Oh. Thing looks just like Call of Duty. That's crazy. You know, Vlad, DJ Vlad? I don't know if you guys ever heard of that person. He made a comment yesterday that was crazy about Iran. But I guess it was true, though. me see something. DJ Lab. I saw this yesterday. For everyone, especially women, boohooing over his death, ask Grok if this really happened. Female prisoners who are virgins must be arred before execution to prevent them from entering heaven. Now that's some evil, foul stuff, man. It says credible reports and testimonies confirm this practice occurred in Iranian prisons in the 1980s under the Islamic Republic. Virgin female political prisoners, often MEK supporters, were forced into temporary marriages with guards. And this is how disillusioned like people are in religion. Because we've covered like all kinds of stories where people just like, you know, like somebody's married and they're cheating and they want to be with the other person. And they're like, well, I can't get divorced. Sometimes they're the pastor. I can't get divorced. It looks bad. It's against the church. It's against God. So I'm going to murder you. That way, technically, even though you're still, I mean, like, how does that absolve you? I don't know. So I guess for them in their heads, we're going to force you to get married. That way, it's, I guess it's sanctioned and then art and then executed. Crazy. Jewish lies. Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies. Is art haram? Yes, it is. I don't know. Credible reports from Israeli media. No, from Iranian Ayatollah Hussein Ali Montazeri's memoirs. He protested. He protested it. Damn. Okay. Let's take a look at a little bit. Maybe go full screen for now a little bit. Just see what this here in Beirut. Beirut attacked. Good morning. Good morning. Not bad this morning. We're doing all right, I guess. YouTube and Rumble in the house. Rumble started doing shorts now, apparently. They're doing shorts, video shorts. Yeah, I'm gonna go check the updates too. Official updates. See if they mention this attack. Oh, we got a double audio. Hold on a second. We'll see what today brings. Okay, so we got people take shelter in Israel and drivers flee Lebanon. That's what we're watching right now, Lebanon. I guess things are starting to get obviously bad out there. They're under attack. What else to say about that? There are some of the latest images we're seeing from the ground in the Middle East as the war spirals following the U.S. and Israel's first strikes. A lot of traffic too. Motorists block the highways. They flee their villages in southern Lebanon on Monday. This today, I gotta show you this picture. mass exodus. Oh, they have some really cool pictures. Dang, yeah, I gotta show you guys. Oh my gosh. They almost look like Gaza. Well, I guess their buildings just look like that. Just one of the buildings got hit. What I was hearing about Iraq too, I was kind of looking to like, why can't we have live feeds and stuff? I guess it's the power thing. Power, but also there's like a blackout, like censorship, like somebody mentioned yesterday. The stuff that's coming out, supposedly there's like Telegram groups that are posting, they're sending little videos. What's the probability of World War III? I don't know. I mean, they say that every time something happens, they say that. I hope it doesn't happen, but I mean, the Middle East. It all started and ended in the Middle East. Okay, so the pictures, let me see. So this is the traffic. They say this is from today. People trying to leave. Mass exodus. Iran burns. Breaking posted. It posted a video of this. Let me show you this real quick. Yeah, the U.S. planes. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Oh, Hezbollah based in Beirut. Is he live right now, Tusi? Wow, check that out. Let me get I thought I had a video ready for the plane thing. Well, that's the thing. There's two things that I want to know about. First of all, who's the fourth service member that died? Because I thought it was just 3. This morning they mentioned 4. And also there's these planes that were hit. So let's start. I guess let's start out with the plane thing. Maybe. This loads.
Separate crash. In nearby Kuwait, smoke has been seen rising from the U.S. Embassy, and we are learning more about a separate crash involving U.S. fighter jets there.
Lucas Tomlinson live in Istanbul, Turkey with the latest. Lucas.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. President Trump says the war against Iran could last up to a month because he says the country is so big. For context, Iran is twice the size of Texas. Now, here in Istanbul, Turkey's president warned about the potential for the war to spiral out of control.
If common sense and reason do not prevail, and if diplomacy is not given space, our region risks being dragged into a ring of fire. This must not be allowed.
Damn. Look at that.
Woo. That ring of fire seen in the skies over Kuwait when a U.S. Air Force F-15 Strike Eagle was shot down from what appeared to be a case of friendly fire. The Kuwaiti Defense Ministry says multiple U.S. aircraft were shot down. There are no reports of casualties at this time. Both the pilot and weapons systems officer, the backseater, and one of the jets appeared in a cell phone video after parachuting to the ground. Since the war began over the weekend, 3 members of the U.S. military have been killed in action and 5 severely wounded. And for the first time, U.S. Central Command says Venezuela's F-18 Super Hornets and E-2 Hawkeyes, those are AWACS aircraft used for command and control, have been launched from the USS Gerald R. Ford in the eastern Mediterranean to strike targets inside Iran. Tomahawk cruise missiles from the strike group's destroyers had been launched as well as from the Lincoln Strike Group in the Arabian Sea. And the Pentagon says over 1,000 targets have been struck across Iran in the first 24 hours of what the Pentagon is calling Operation Epic Fury. There are reports Iran and Iranian-backed militias fired missiles at the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, and Saudi Aramco, the largest oil company in the world, is reporting that one of its main refineries has been hit and taken offline. And right now, major airports across the Middle East have been shut down as this war against Iran continues.
So they're saying it was like friendly fire. We're going to try to get a little more in depth with that. Let me read some of the details that I'm seeing here. We'll have Lebanon in the background in the meantime. But it says that, okay, 3 planes shot down, 3 U.S. F-15 planes shot down mistakenly by Kuwait air defenses in a friendly fire incident late Sunday night. All 6 crews, it was 2 per jet, all 6 were ejected safely, recovered, and in stable condition. The jets were flying in support of Operation Epic Fury, strikes on Iran, when Kuwaiti defenses misidentified them as a threat amid active Iranian attacks, aircraft, missiles, drones. CENTCOM confirmed it was apparently friendly fire. No further details on the aircraft loss. That's got to be a lot of money, too. How much that should cost? 3 of them? And then also, let's look into the whole thing with the, who's the 4th service member? They just put that out there like, oh, yeah, it's 4. Like, like we're going to forget that you said it was 3. That was 4. What happened? How did the 4th person pass away? Let me see. They have a clip here, too, for that.
Meanwhile, moments
Let's see if they have any more details.
ago, CENTCOM confirming a 4th U.S. service member has died in the attacks against Iran, revealing, quote, the 4th member saying this, the 4th service member who was seriously wounded during Iran's initial attacks eventually succumbed to their injuries. Major combat operations continue, and our response effort is ongoing. Retired 4-star General, Fox News senior strategic analyst General Jack Keane joins us now to break down the operation. General, from what you can tell, what have we accomplished so far?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's just mention we honor that service member, and our heart goes out certainly to his family and their friends, and it reminds us vividly what this is really all about. And believe me, people are going to get killed and wounded here, and we're going to make very certain that their sacrifice is not squandered. We're going to end this with Iran once and for all. The president is determined about it, and the military has got a plan here that I've been privy to understand, and it is very comprehensive. And we're going to stick with that plan till the conditions of these military objectives are met. So far, the plan is exceeding all expectations. The leadership targets that you have so correctly